So come to standing and just raise your arms up, clasp and reverse. Go to one side, to centre, and then to the other side, to centre. Turn to the left, come to the centre, and breathing out, turn to the right, and come to the centre. Keep your hands up as you lift your heels, and then lower your heels, but keep them a millimetre above the ground, so that the weight's into the heels, and then release your heels, release your hands to shoulder height, arms out, breathing out, turn to one hand, looking over the fingers of one hand, third finger, come to the centre, and then turn your head the other way, come to the centre, and then lower your hands, lift and roll your shoulders. Clasp your hands behind, aim your knuckles to the floor, open your shoulders, and then turn to the left, breathe into the centre, turn to the right, come to the centre, bend your knees, hands are above you, only lift your hands when your head is down, press your feet down as you roll up and lift your head up, release your hands, lift and roll your shoulders, and then raising your hands up. Look up if that's good for your neck and stretch your fingers. And then breathing out, lower your hands back down alongside you and then lift and roll your shoulders. Come to sway from side to side. And just enjoy the movement and imagine as if you're initiating the movement from your navel. And then just come to the centre, feet together, come to the top of the mat and we're going to do some salute to the suns. And I will guide you through it. So inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up. Breathing out, bend your knees, hands either side of your feet. Keep high as you step back with your right foot, then your left foot into plank, so you're high. Your heels are up, your tummy or lower abdomen is engaged into your spine. You're in a straight line, your chin tucks in. And then bring your knees to the ground. Come to lying and stretch your hands out in front of you. Really enjoy the stretch. Slide your hands back to just below your shoulders and bring your elbows in as you press down with your hands and come back to kneeling. And then tuck your toes as you come to a soft dog. Bend the knees and then extend the knees and feel that you can move your feet further apart to accommodate your downward dog. Bend one knee, straighten the other leg. Bend the other knee and straighten the other leg. So it's walking the dog. Really stretch back. Your heels don't have to touch the ground, but they are aiming towards the ground. And then bend both knees as you come back to kneeling. And your hands go to the left. Your right foot comes up. Hands either side of your right foot, tuck your back left toes underneath and just enjoy the stretch in your right thigh as your knee goes slightly forward, as little or as much as you would like. Your knee can go beyond the 90 degrees here because you're supporting your body weight with your hands. Tuck your back left toes under, engage your perineum slightly up and your lower abdomen slightly in. Lift your back left knee and step your left foot to your right foot. Hands go on your shins as you breathe in and have a sense of lengthening all the way along your spine. Your chin tucks in.
Breathing out, bend your knees, elbows soften out to the side, your chin tucks into your chest. Inhaling, press your hands once more on the shins and feel that extension along your spine. And stay here as you breathe out. And then breathing in, press your feet to the ground, roll up vertebra by vertebra, come to standing and then carry on, raising your hands above your head. Look to your thumbs only if that's good for your neck. And breathing out, lower your hands. So we're going to move slightly quicker. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up, stretch back. Breathing out, roll down, hands either side. Step back with your left foot, keep high, right foot, keep high, you're in plank. Bend both knees to the ground, come to lying, and then come to stretch your hands out in front of you. Almost palms together or palms flat on the ground, just the stretch. Slide your hands back to either side of your chest. Palms pressed down, elbows in as you come back to kneeling. Tuck your toes and you're coming to downward dog. Move your feet to accommodate this downward dog, making them wide if you need to, and walk the dog by bending one knee and the other knee. You can sway your hips from side to side. Bend both knees, back down to the ground, and this time your hands go slightly to the right to accommodate your left foot coming up, hands either side of your left foot. Enjoy the stretch at the thigh level and along your spine. Tuck your back right toes under, lower abdomen in to support you as you lift up your right knee and step your right foot to your left foot. Hands on your shins, lengthening your spine as you breathe in. Breathing out, bend your knees, elbows out to the side. And then breathing in, press your hands on your shins and stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, press your feet down as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing and raising your arms above your head, looking up, only if that's good for you, otherwise look straight ahead. And breathing out, lower your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders. We're going to go a little bit faster. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up. Breathe out, bend your knees, hands down. Step back, right foot, left foot, high plank. Bend your knees to the floor, come to lying. And then hands go in front of you. Stretch. Slide your hands back. Press your hands down, elbows in. Come to tuck your toes and then come to your dog. Lengthening your back and then lengthening your legs. Widen your feet and walk the dog. Bend both knees back to the mat. Hands go to the left. Right foot comes up. Hands either side of the right foot. Stretch. Tuck your back left toes. Lift up your back left knee and step your left foot to your right foot. Hands on your shins, inhaling, lengthening along your spine. Breathe out, bend in. Lengthen your spine as you straighten your legs and stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, bend your knees, soften your knees, press down into your feet as you rise up, stretch up. Breathing out, lower your hands. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up. Breathing out, lower, down to the ground. Keep high as you step back with your left foot and then right foot into your straight plank. Heels go up to the ceiling, you're in a straight line. Bend your knees, come down to the ground and come to lying. Hands go out in front of you. Stretch. Bring your hands back, hands on the ground, elbows in, press down to come to kneeling and then carry on as you come into your downward dog. Walking the dog, bending one knee and then the other knee. You can sway your hips. Bend both knees, come back down to the ground. Hands go to the right. Left foot comes up, hands either side of the left foot, stretch. Tuck your back right toes, lift your right knee, step your right foot to your left, hands on the shins. Breathe in, lengthen along your tailbone to the top of the head. Breathe out, bend in. Breathe in, press your hands onto your shins, lengthen, and stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra and hands up and lower. So this last round is one breath per movement, and it's classically how one might do Salute to the Sun. There are so many traditions, but this is one classic one. Hands together at the heart centre. Inhale, hands up. Breathing out, lower. Step back, right foot, left foot high, and hold the breath as you come to lying, stretching your hands out. Stretch your hands back, press your feet down, tuck your toes and coming into downward dog. Stretch back. Bring your knees to the ground. Hands to the left, right foot up, hands either side of your right foot. Tuck your back left toes, lift up. Left foot goes to right foot, press your feet down as you roll up vertebra by vertebra, stretching up, breathing out as you come down. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up. Breathing out, roll down. Step back to your left foot, right foot high, come to kneeling and then come to lying and stretching out. Slide your hands back as you inhale and then breathing out as you tuck your toes and coming once more to your downward dog. Stretching out, bringing your knees back down to the ground, hands to the right as you bring up your left foot. Tuck your back right toes, lift up, step your right foot to your left, press your feet down as you roll up vertebra by vertebra. Stretch up and lower your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then come to lower yourself back to kneeling onto the ground. Feet are hip width apart. As you kneel up, raising your arms upwards, you can look ahead or straight up. Breathing out, lower, and then round your back so that your elbows come to the ground in a form of child. Your bottom is up in the air. Slide your hands back to your knees as you kneel up, raising your arms either straight, look ahead or up. Breathing out, round your back. Elbows come to the ground. Breathing in, slide your hands back to your knees as you kneel up. Stretch up, stretch your fingers. Breathing out, round your back. Hands come to the floor, elbows come to the ground. Slide your hands back to your knees as you kneel up. Breathing out, round. And then last time, as you slide your hands up, stretching up, breathing out, round. Take an in and an out breath here. And then slide your hands back, come to move your bottom to the side. And in this series, we take a couple of breaths lying on our backs in Shavasana, but you can have your knees bent and feet on the floor. But classically, you would lie on the ground. Just take a moment to breathe in and out. And while you're doing that, just circle. You'll need to lift your hands slightly off the ground, but your elbows will stay down. Circle both your ankles and your hands, your wrists in one direction to boost the circulation. And yet you're still resting your body. And then very gently circle your wrists and your ankles in the other direction. And then relax and release. And now bend your knees up to your chest, hug your knees into your chest, and just enjoy rocking very gently from side to side. This massages you across your lower back and the upper sacral area. It can be very soothing. And the more you rock over to the side, the more you'll go into the top of your bottom, which is going into another point, an acupressure point altogether. Come back to the centre. You're still hugging your knees into your chest. Just check that your neck is long, so that you're not bending or crunching up your neck. And as you breathe in, extend the soles of your feet to the ceiling and your arms go up behind you. You're extending your heels and you're stretching your hands behind you. Your chin tucks in. Breathe out and then begin to hug your knees back into your chest again. Breathing in. Extend your heels back up to the ceiling and your arms go stretching up and behind you. Your hands, backs of the hands don't have to touch the ground, but they can if you are getting there easily. Breathing out, hug your knees into your chest. Breathing in, stretch your heels up once more and your legs open in a kind of natural V, your hands go behind you. Breathing out, hugging your knees into your chest. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, hug your knees into your chest. Breathing in, soles of the feet extend. And as you extend the soles of your feet, be aware that the extension of the heels engages the muscles on either side of your leg. Easy to forget or to be lazy when we walk and forget that, hugging your knees into your chest. But this is a very natural way to extend everything. And then last time, as we bring our heels back up, soles of the feet to the ceiling, extend the heels. Stretch under the arms, this connects into the lymph system, the energetic flow. And then breathing out, hugging the knees into the chest. And once more, just enjoy the hug as you hug in, rocking from side to side. And as you come to the centre now, hug your knees into your chest. And still holding your knees, let your knees drift slightly away from you. Hug your knees into your chest. And still holding them, let them drift slightly away from you. And hug your knees into your chest and just let them drift slightly away from you. Drop your hands behind your thighs to support your legs as you bring one foot and then the other foot back down to the mat so that your feet are hip width apart, your knees are upwards towards the ceiling, and your hands are resting now, palms down alongside you on the floor. And we're going to start with a very brief pelvic tilt. So palms are down, feet are hip width apart. Flatten your back to the ground as if you're going to lift your bottom and then just release and relax. And you'll find that there's a little gap that appears underneath your lower spine as you relax. And then press your spine down as if you're going to lift your bottom and then just release and relax. And one more time, pressing your spine into the floor as you go to lift your bottom and then just release and relax. This time we're actually going to lift our bottom, so press your feet into the ground, lift your bottom, and then bending your elbows, lift your arms above you. Your backs of your hands can touch the floor if there's space for them to do that, and your chin tucks in. And then start breathing out, and then make your movement to lower your back and bottom back down to the ground as you lower your arms back down to, this time, your knees. Hug your knees into your chest. And then place the soles of the feet on the floor. And we come back to the starting position of hands, palms down alongside you.
and then pressing your feet down as you lift your bottom. Then start to raise your arms. Your chin tucks into your chest, which incidentally activates the vagus nerve, so it's a calming action. And then start to breathe out, and you'll find that your hands quite naturally let your arms drift back again, and then hug your knees into your chest. And then release your feet back down to the floor. And again, when you're ready, palms down, pressing down with your feet. As you lift up, feel that someone's holding your knees, so that your knees are stretching, your arms stretch up above you. Your knees aren't splaying out, and someone's holding them just above the knee, onto the thigh, which just engages you a little bit better. And then breathing out, lower your self back down to the ground and lower your arms, and once more hug your knees into your chest. And we'll make the next movement, the last one, by pressing the feet into the ground. Your palms are palms down alongside you. Press your feet down, lift your bottom, then lift your arms. They can be bent at the elbows and then stretch out. Really lift up as high as you can, but without compromising your back. Feel that your knees are pointing ahead, they're not splaying out. And feel the inner thigh leg engaging as you do this, and then breathing out, lower your self back down to the ground, and then once more hugging your knees into your chest. And just slightly then rock from side to side. And then come to the centre and still holding your knees into your chest, hug your knees in. And then, still holding the knees, breathe in as you let the knees extend away from you to arm's length. Breathing out, hug your knees into your chest. And then breathing in, still holding the knees, let them extend away. And as we carry on doing this movement of hugging the knees into the chest and letting them go away, notice whether your hands are doing the pulling and initiating the movement for you, or whether you're resting your hands very lightly on your knees and your tummy or lower abdominal muscles do the work for you. There's a subtle difference. Classically in yoga, you would hold your knees very lightly and let the tummy or the tummy muscles do the work for you. But it is very satisfying just to hug your knees into your chest. So I would suggest that you do whatever or whichever movement you feels natural for you. But just be aware that there is this subtle difference of your stomach muscles doing the work for you, which will of course activate your core a little bit more, or whether you just let your hands do the work for you. And we're carrying on hugging the knees into the chest. And then make the next time you hug your knees into the chest, the last time, hugging into the chest, enjoying that, satisfying, squeeze in, and then releasing the legs back down to the floor. You can use your hands under your thighs to support you. And then once more, you can either stay here, or you can, for a few breaths, come back to Shavasana. So classically in yoga, this is Shavasana for just a few breaths to let the body absorb and process the movement that we've made. And as if you are extending your feet out, just point your toes to the ceiling and then breathing out, let your feet, your toes point away from you. Inhaling, extending your heels up to the ceiling. And be aware that as you do point your toes away from you and stretching the tops of the backs of your feet, this activates the lymph system in reflexology on the backs of your feet. So it, in other words, activates your circulation and your part of your immune system, pointing your toes away. And then once more breathing in as your toes go up to the ceiling, and then pointing your toes away. Relax your feet, let them drop out to the side,
And just explore stretching your fingers out now. And then breathing out, just curl your fingers in. You can clench them into fists if you want, or just curl them in. Breathing in, stretching your fingers out, and then breathing out, just curl them in or stretch them in. And then breathing in, curl your fingers out, and breathing out, and curl them in. Relax your hands, you can open them up, palms up, slightly away from you, or you can bring your palms down to your tummy and let your elbows come out. But just for a couple of breaths, just let your head move slightly to one side. I'm going to let mine move to the right. Bring your head back to the centre, and then very gently let your head move to the left, or whichever direction. You're moving your neck. Breathing in, come back to the centre with your head, and then breathing out once more to the right, and then breathing into the centre, and then breathing out to the left. Come to the centre. Hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest, and just gently as you hug it, rock once more from side to side. And we're going to be coming to rolling onto our sides, and then we're going to effectively be coming up in our own time to kneeling on our knees being hip width apart. So come to kneeling however you want to come to kneeling. Your knees are hip width apart, and we come to do a movement that we did at the beginning of the class. So sliding your hands towards your knees as you kneel up, hands up, stretch your fingers, either looking ahead or looking up. Breathing out, rounding the back, bending the elbows. The hands come to the ground and you slide your hands away from you so that your elbows rest on the ground and your bottom goes into the air. Sliding your hands back towards you as you kneel up, stretching your hands up, looking ahead or up, then breathing out, lowering your hands. Hands come to the mat and you slide your hands away from you, your elbows come to the ground and your bottom goes up. Slide your hands towards you as you kneel up. So this very simple movement is controlling your breath because you correlate and coordinate your breath to your movement. So it's slowing your breath down, but it's also beginning to impact your nervous system as the entire practice is done. And so it's a calming movement. Coming forward is deeply calming for the nervous system. And then moving very slowly as with repeating the up movement as you breathe in, and then breathing out. You're rounding your back, your chin comes to your chest, so that's equally good for activating the vagus nerve, which is involved in the process of de-inflammation, kneeling up, and then breathing out. Lowering your hands, sliding them along the mat so that your elbows can come to the ground. And just take a breath here, noticing how your back is rounded and how the vertebra of your spine have perhaps a little bit more space in this position, and how also the breath is perhaps more directed into your back. So your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys, and your adrenal glands, of course, are very much implicated in the stress response of the body. So this is very counter that and very calming for the nervous system. And then slide your hands towards your knees again. Come up sufficiently that you can move your bottom to the side and come just to finish by a couple of breaths in a seated position. So I'm going to come to Sukhasana, which is easy seated pose. My left leg is in front of my right, but come to however you want to come to a seated position. And have your hands palms up, and this is, again, it's a meditation and a breathwork exercise. You can say it silently to yourself or not at all. You touch your thumb to your second finger, sa. It's a circle of life. Your thumb then touches your third fingers of both hands, ta. Your thumb then goes to the fourth finger or ring finger of each hand, na, N-A. And then your thumb goes to the little fingers of each hand, ma. Now, interestingly enough, anyone who's got dementia will find this very difficult to do. Their fingers and mind don't correlate, so everything goes a bit haywire. And it's one of the tests that I understand doctors can do, also for Parkinson's, where the mind, left, right, and brain hemispheres don't correlate. So you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, it doesn't matter, but sa, ta, na, ma is the circle of life. So thumb to second finger, sa, third finger, ta, fourth finger, na, fifth and little finger, ma. Sa, ta, na, 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 ma. And last time, sa, ta, na, ma. Take an in and an out breath. Have a thought for the day that's either for yourself or wishing somebody else well for the day. And think that thought a couple of times, your sankalpa, setting your intention for the day. Then bring your hands to your chest, lower your chin to your chest, to have a lovely day ahead. And thank you very much for joining me today. Have a lovely day.